Okay, good day, everyone. This is Noble Mike Jamison for another episode of Game Time. Hey, listen, I'm excited today because I get a chance to introduce you to not just a good businessman, right, but a really good person. Okay, this gentleman and I have been friends for the better part of 20 years now. We started out as business colleagues, but now we're really great friends as well in life. And I can't really think of a better person to really help us hone in on today's topic. You guys see the topic. We're talking about your credit profile, your credit score, and all of the above. And this gentleman, I'm going to let him share a little bit about why he's an expert in this arena. But I want to introduce to some and announce to others my good friend, Dr. Jerry M. Bobo. Are you there, sir?
I'm here, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, brother. Let me pull you up to the top of the room. Hey, man, listen, I'm excited to have you on. I know that you are a serial entrepreneur. What many people don't know, you not only are an expert in this field, but you have several different businesses that you juggle on a week in and week out basis, from spas to logistics to you name it. You just do so much for the people, man. But today, I asked you to carve out a little bit of your time to really talk to us about this whole credit score and credit profile situation. And so I've got a couple of questions that I want to ask you. People have been inboxing me and emailing me. So I put together 7 questions that that I received from my audience, and I want you to help us answer. Okay. But before we get started, why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about your credit experience in business and working in this area?
Wow, thank you, brother. Allow me to use 2 of the least used words in the English vocabulary, and that's thank you, thank you, thank you, man. Truly appreciate everything you do, for not only for me and my family, but for the world at large. But not to belabor the moment, man, I've got 17 years as a serial entrepreneur. I'm a psychologist by trade. As you so eloquently stated, we have several brick and mortar businesses, everything from logistics to spas to a newly opened chiropractic clinic. And so my credit journey kind of started by happenstance, Mike. As you know, you and I have made a ton of money together in the network marketing business or multi-level marketing business. And I was taking that money and I was moving it into other investment platforms, right? And so I was running out of cash, right? Even though I wasn't purchasing liabilities, I was getting assets, but we know that an investment takes time to get a return on it. And so I was trying to figure out, how do I stay in the mix? How do I stay in motion while the seeds in the ground are harvesting? And so then that's when I began to learn about credit. And, like most of America, I was never taught to leverage credit. We only used credit to get a car. We only used credit to get a house. We only used credit for a credit card. And then we did stupid things with the credit card. So that got on my radar that my credit was not to keep me in debt, that I could leverage the credit. That they always say cash is king, but I've learned that that's true. Cash is king, but credit is King Kong. And so able to now take credit, right, and leverage it and literally use good credit to create cash flow. So that's how I got on that journey. And then I started to meet people that were having credit issues because they wanted to be an investor like myself, and they wanted to get into real estate and they wanted to do different things, but they were credit challenged. And so because I always have had a heart for the people, used some research and found out, wow, that 80% of credit files got errors on them, and them errors could be detrimental to people. And so it angered me. And so for those of you that know me and those of you that don't, I'm a Taurus. And, when I get angry, I'm literally like that bull. And so that smoke started coming out my nose and that hoof got to going. And, fast forward 15 years later, fast forward, 7 figures later, we're still helping a ton of people.
Awesome, man. What an incredible story. What an incredible journey. And that's pretty powerful. You said cash is king, but credit is King Kong. That's what I'm talking about.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, listen. So the next question from our audience says, what is the biggest reason or reasons that cause people to fall into bad credit or have a bad profile? Like what's one of the biggest things that you've seen in your experience that really cause people to go down this wrong path as it relates to credit?
I would have to say it's two, and they're typically intertwined together. Um, one and one A. One, just lack of cash flow. Just literally not being able to keep up with payments. Just being overextended. And then I would say one A is just being ignorant about credit, period, not understanding the factors that go into credit. And typically the average person doesn't really get concerned about credit until there's an issue. Right. And a lot of times it's too late when you don't know. Right. The damage is done. And now they're being reactive versus proactive.
Yeah, so now they got to have an emergency that they got to respond to. And because they don't have the cash, as you so eloquently indicated, they got to go to credit to put a disaster on layaway. You know what I mean? On credit.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. But then that causes another disaster. So now they don't have the cash or the credit to function.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, here's the next question from my audience. What are some of the things that are affected by a person having bad credit? Because you can have a low credit score. It's just not a one-off. I mean, there's some other things that are now affected in your whole life as a result of this. What are some of the things that you've seen in your experience?
Man, literally now, Mike, I mean, in the 21st century, your entire life is affected by your credit score. I've seen people not be able to get insurance, or I've seen people have astronomical insurance rates as a result of the credit or the lack thereof. I've seen people not be able to get hired, especially in the financial industry, because of their credit. I've had clients reach out to me who are currently employed and have been since notified that, hey, we're about to start doing credit checks on existing employees. And this is the standard that we're looking for. And if you don't meet this standard, you'll no longer be employed with this particular company. Not to mention, trying to get a mortgage or simply renting an apartment. Maybe you're trying to be an investor. You want Airbnb, or you're trying to get into Turo or things of that nature. All of that stuff is contingent upon your personal credit. And, so now the new wave, the new trend, everybody wants to holler about business credit, business credit, business credit. Use your EIN and you don't have to use your social security number. Let me be the first to tell you, as an expert in this industry with almost 2 decades in it, certified in it, banks hire me to come in and do lectures about credit. That is a myth. That is a myth. Your personal credit affects your business credit. It's called a PG, a personal guarantor. That is you, the person. Some human has to still be responsible for that business credit. Now, in time, can that business stand on its own? Eventually. But in the beginning, it's going to be contingent upon your personal credit score as well.
Gotcha. So having great credit or having bad credit can definitely affect all of those things that you just mentioned. It's a great idea to look at the path of having business credit, but know that there's a transition to get there with your personal guarantor.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. 10,000%.
So let's talk a little bit about question number 4. It says, does debt affect your credit score? Since we're talking about utilizing credit for a lack of cash flow, if someone does that, does the credit score automatically go down because they're now utilizing this credit?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a formula. Really, so your credit is, look at it like a pie, and it's basically broken up into 4 or 5 slices. Okay, so each independent credit bureau has their own quote unquote formula, but the foundations are the same. Time or length of credit, right? How much credit you have available to you, late payments, and then what we're talking about right now, utilization. So as a rule of thumb, we try to do 30%, and that's actually a lot. I want to be honest. We encourage people never to go above that 30% mark. We really would like for you to stay around 10%, but hey, 30% absolute max. Because what happens is, let's just say let's just use some low numbers, right? You've got $1,000 credit card. If you go above $300, right, using it, yeah, you have $1,000 limit. But you go charge $900, you go charge $400, $500, that utilization is up. And even though you're making that monthly payment on time, the fact that you utilize so much of that credit is still negatively impacting your credit score. So yes, utilization can hurt you tremendously because again, you can make the payments on time, but you still affecting another piece of the pie.
Gotcha. So the idea is to get the credit and keep the
Mhm.
utilization down to at least 30% or less.
30% or less, absolutely. And again, 30% is pushing it.
Pushing it high.
But
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha. All right. So we got 3 more questions here. We appreciate your time, Dr. Bobo.
absolutely.
So the question is, obviously, if we got bad credit, got a bad profile, can your credit be fixed? And if so, how long?
Great. So first of all, let me say this to your viewers and audience that may be watching this. Bad credit is not indicative of being a bad person. I want to put that out there. Having bad credit is not indicative of being a bad person. Things happen, man. Death, divorce, loss of job, loss of hours, loss of money. A business could go bad. Maybe you loaned some money, that loan wasn't repaid back to you. Maybe you had a family member or a friend that you co-signed for and life happened to them, and inevitably it caused it to happen to you. So I just want anybody that may be dealing with a bad credit situation, hold your head up, stick your chest out, hold your chin up. There's nothing wrong with you as an individual. Now, to your point, can bad credit be fixed? Absolutely, totally, it can. And it can be done legally, ethically, and morally. It doesn't have to be this fly by night stuff. It doesn't have to be all this fraudulent activity. I mean, there's so much stuff swirling out there on the internet. Fix your credit this way, you fix your credit that way. Guys, listen, a lot of this stuff is illegal, unethical, and immoral. So let's not turn a bad credit situation into a criminal situation, because I've seen people literally go to jail, just trying to get out of a bad situation and making it worse. So again, vehemently, yes, your credit can be fixed legally, ethically, and morally. You just need to know the laws, and there are hundreds of laws on your side for your particular situation. How long? That's like trying to do surgery and not see the body. Okay. Everybody's situation is different. Do you have collections? Do you have a bankruptcy? Is it student loans? Is it just a bunch of errors? Everyone's situation is different, and that should be another red flag for individuals out there. If you're thinking about hiring someone to do your credit, if they give you a timeline, if they say, "Hey, we can get this done in 30 days, we can get this done in 60 days," run, run. There is no way on the planet someone can give you a definite time frame on the repairing of the credit, but it can be repaired. So I'll say this: would you 7 months, 10 months, a year? What's too long? Or would you rather go a decade suffering, getting turned down, getting no's, having to have a cosigner, your cosigner need a cosigner, paying astronomical interest rates? You went and bought one car, but by the time they put all that interest, taxes, and fees on there, you could have bought three. So again, you probably didn't get in the credit situation overnight. So don't have an unrealistic expectation of getting out of it overnight.
Awesome. Awesome. Very well stated, sir. And you kind of answered the sixth question about how to maintain the good profile. So we'll end with this last question. So with your almost 2 decades of experience in the space, what would you say is like a credit hack, like something that somebody never thought of, like an aha moment in your experience that, what, if I'd have did this in the beginning 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I could have set myself up, or I could have set my family up a little bit different. What is like a credit hack that you can share with our audience today in closing?
Man, I would, for me personally, there are a couple of different ones, but I think one that's near and dear to my heart that I wish I had known. But fortunately, I didn't wait till it was too late. The credit hack I would suggest to everyone is get your children in place. Get your children in place. You can literally start building your child's credit at 13, 14 years old, right? And don't abuse it though. I mean, there's some horror stories about, hey, kids 18 trying to go apply for something for the first time in life and talking about they got cake. or they got phone. Their mom and dad have been using their credit and don't pay the bill. No, I'm not talking about like that. I'm talking about literally, again, legally, ethically, and morally, building your child's credit profile. So when they turn 18 or 19, they're already at a 700 credit score across the board. They're already at a 750 credit score. They're already prepared to be able to walk into a bank and do a mortgage, do a credit card, do a line of credit, right? Get some sort of investments going, because mom and dad have already set them up to win. That would be the credit hack. And if people want more information about that, hey, they can reach out to you or me. That's very simple to do. But again, don't make your children suffer the way that you and I suffered, right? We always say we want to buy our children things, right? I want them to have a good Christmas. I want them to have a good birthday. I want them to get the toys that I wasn't able to get as a child. Now, give your child the gift that keeps on giving, the gift of great credit.
Right. Awesome, sir. But listen, this has been an amazing podcast today. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, in this in the bio of this podcast, you're going to be able to contact Dr. Jerry Bobo directly and figure out how you can utilize this businessman's services. He has a great program that's absolutely amazing. As you said, it's like, trying to operate on the body before you see it. No, listen, he has an amazing program that you can utilize. The information will be in the bio. Feel free to contact him and get your credit profile on the right track if it's not already. Thank you so much for chiming in. Take care. Take charge.